In a cold boreal forest, our three colonists struggle to survive in the face of overwhelming odds. Wash, Harry, and Maddie are proud ranchers who oversee a herd of buffalo and caribou. They created a massive wooden compound over two geothermal vents to provide much needed warmth in this cold climate. Additionally, they have survived myriad bouts of food poisoning due to not having a competent chef, despite Wash's burgeoning enthusiasm for cooking. Their diverse personalities have made for an interesting dynamic. Harry and Wash's stoic demeanor, influenced by their respective psychopathy and bloodlust, contrasts strongly with Maddie's histrionic tendencies caused by her overall nervousness. The colony is rounded out by Harry's best friend, a loyal dog by the name of Ray. The crew has weathered several wild animal attacks by predators and manhunters. Additionally, Maddie's emotional struggles and developing horseshoe addiction has taken its toll on all of the colonists' morale and well-being, as she often finds herself wandering in a fugue state deep in the forest in isolation, and subsequently becoming more upset by her own questionable choices. Our storyteller is Cassandra Classic, on the Strive to Survive difficulty and in commitment mode. In this video, we will be showcasing some of Wash's eclectic artwork, as well as some intriguing and thrilling events. Now, let's take a look at our three main colonists and their backstories. Wash was raised in an illegal underground organ farm. His body was used to grow organic implants for wounded mercenaries. Though his upbringing has left him haunted, it has also given him a unique understanding of the human biology. As a smith on a medieval world, Wash gained a reputation for the high quality of his work. He wasn't bad at using the swords he forged either. Wash is a psychopath with a chemical interest. He's incapable of violence or any intellectual work. That being said, he's kind of a jack of all trades within our colony. He can do a little bit of cooking, plant work. He's dabbled in animals. He's our main crafter. Also, equally important, Wash is the main medical doctor for our entire colony. And here we have Karina Harry Price. Harry was greatly affected by a traumatic event in her early life. For many years she refused to speak to people, preferring instead to play with her household's numerous pets. As an adult, Harry became a slaughterer. Harry slaughtered animals for a living. Others looked down on this work as filthy, but the skills required to manage and cleanly slaughter large numbers of animals were never simple. This somehow contradicts Harry's childhood passion for animals. Harry is the primary hunter and animal handler for our colony. She's also capable of a little bit of mining and crafting. Most importantly, Harry has a bloodlust and is nimble, which allows her to avoid attacks in melee combat. Now, Matilda Maddie Booble was a childhood shop kid. Maddie's mother was often ill, and it fell to her to run the store, which was their only source of income. She learned a little about the exotic artifacts which she sold, and a lot about the art of the deal. In Maddie's adulthood, she became an Rimworld drone. Maddie worked as a mindless construction drone on a massive world. Though she is now freed from the brutal social experiments to which she was subjected, she remains incapable of creative thought and leadership. While Maddie has a lot of problems as a colonist, one of her strong suits is being good at construction. She's actually the colonist who built the vast majority of the structures that you are now seeing on your screen. She's also capable of mining, but possesses some tremendous nervous energy. She's able to do a little bit of social work, but as our former preacher, she left much to be desired in that regard. She lost her preacher role after being arrested in a social fight with Harry.
Okay, here we're taking a closer look at a small wooden sculpture of poor quality which was crafted by Wash. It is a torso-sized piece of material sculpted into an artistic form, entitled Go Shock. This sculpture bears an image of Karina Harry Price being disabled seemingly without remorse. A sheriff watches silently far from the main subject. At the edge of the image are thousands of artichokes. The work is executed in an unoriginal style. This depiction relates to the knocking unconscious of Harry on 11th of August, 5500. Here's another small wooden sculpture, also of poor quality, with a modest market value of $79. This one is entitled Vomit Number 3. On this sculpture is an illustration of Matilda Maddie Baubel trudging through snow and shivering uncontrollably. The scene appears to take place inside a freezer. This illustration tells the story of Maddie getting hypothermia on 15th of September, 5500.
The caribou are to be fed by a collection of kibble. There has been some animal starvation that the colony has been forced to be dealing with due to the harsh winter environment of our boreal forest. Wash carefully brings out piles of kibble, and our animals go absolutely crazy devouring that for their survival. Here you should take a look at the excessive blood that is saturating the area just west of our compound. Harry did a lot of hard work hunting various deer and elk and caribou in this area, and lots of blood was left behind. Our colony is being raided by two pigmen by the name of Peach and Ponder. Ponder is wielding frag grenades, and Peach brought a revolver. We decided to dispatch our 3 colonists and meet them in the field in order to take them before they reach our home. Because those frag grenades are very likely to cause a fire that would be very difficult to put out.
We've put out more than our share of fires by now with this colony.
We're going to send our 2 gunmen behind these rocks for cover, but they weren't able to quite get there, so they're going to exchange fire out in the open with Peach the pig.
Ooh.
Maddie takes a shot to the torso.
It's okay. Our colonists are no strangers to gunshot wounds.
Colonists are moving up behind the rocks to gain some cover before one of them does a headshot to Peach. Maddie takes another bullet. Walsh is bravely going to run into the battle in order to attempt to administer some emergency medical treatment to Maddie. But just then, the order is given to flee. We're going to reposition further behind these trees, potentially this mountain to our left. Harry gets behind a tree. Maddie gets behind a rock wall in order to be treated. Here they come. They have begun their assault. Ponder has taken a bunch of go juice, so is running very quickly with those grenades. But Peach decides to go with the frontal assault.
Surprising that she's up and moving despite having sustained a gunshot wound to the head.
Colonists double check the cover effectiveness of where we are fighting, because Peach has moved behind the cover that we had just recently abandoned.
It looks like Maddie sure is losing a lot of blood as Wash valiantly administers medical care.
Colonists heroically make it to the line of rocks by the geothermal vent, only to notice that Ponder has begun flanking us.
Ooh, Maddie shot again in the back.
Really is quite wounded and is barely moving at this point, but is still somehow staying together despite being at an extreme break risk. Uncharacteristic for Maddie to be able to keep her head in the situation.
Well, it's not like she is eating without a table, so I think she can handle this.
Here comes Ponder, running with all of his might to throw grenades at us at our rock line. Situation is looking very grim at this point. However, with Peach being downed, the enemies have decided to flee.
At this point in the battle, I became very concerned with Wash's safety. Maddie's not so much, but we just can't lose Wash.
He's really the glue that's keeping this entire colony together. And Wash is now going to capture Peach and bring her back to the base. While our other two gun wielders will shoot Ponder as he flees. Wash narrowly dodged bullets by stepping through the line of fire in order to capture Peach. Ponder has been shot several times while fleeing, but thanks to his go juice consumption, he is able to continue moving at a very brisk pace. Maddie and Harry pursue Ponder. Looks like Ponder's gonna get away. Another victory for our colony. And here we are, building a grave for the inevitable death of Peach. Peach has died due to blood loss. Thanks to Harry having inspired taming, we were able to tame a mega sloth to join our colony.
Next in line in this series of small wooden sculptures of poor quality, we have yet another piece from Wash entitled Dead Sun. This piece bears a representation of Hadley Wash working on a small sculpture while covered in grime. 1,000 writers gaze in awe. This artwork relates to Wash completing work on a small sculpture on 11th of December, 5500. Little bit of Inception vibes with this one.
Faulkner and Saji have decided to stage a prison break from their tiny 2x2 wooden cells next to our dining room. Maddie will be dispatched to quickly attempt to put down this rebellion, along with the other colonists. However, a bunch of visitors have moved in to eat, and Saggy and Faulkner have simply opened the doors of their prison cell and walked straight out. Where was the lock, you may ask? No one knows. Saggy and Faulkner exchange positive words as they make their way to the third unoccupied prison cell, tearing down the wall instead of using the door above.
Well, perhaps they didn't want to relive the trauma of their past attempt at walking away from the colony, which resulted in the copious amount of blood splatter that you can see to the left of the dining area. Maddie opens fire in the dining room, causing our guests to promptly vacate.
Faulkner has destroyed the wall, and they are beginning their escape. Saggy only has 2 minor gunshot wounds and seems to be moving at a normal pace, with Maddie in hot pursuit. Faulkner gets shot in the leg. They are outside of the compound now, making their way to the exit.
Maddie's not having any of that, though.
Correct. He's desperate to stop their fleeing, in order to bring them back as prisoners as they belong.
A grizzly bear watches on from the perimeter.
Faulkner and Saggy have decided to attack Maddie in melee rather than attempt to break through the marble wall. Outnumbered, Maddie is forced to flee, hoping to run into reinforcements in the form of Harry and Wash.
Wash, though incapable of violence, is always dispatched to be on standby to administer medical treatment.
Now that the escapees have stopped chasing Maddie, we're able to take more shots at them. Faulkner begins chipping away at the marble again in order to break into the next part of their escaping.
The grizzly bear still loitering as this violent scene unfolds.
And Wash buries himself in a pine tree. They've decided to attack us in melee once again.
Ooh.
A lucky shot kills Faulkner in this horrific scene.
Faulkner's brain was destroyed.
Which incensed Saggy as she charges our 2 gun wielders.
Wash remains stoically superimposed upon the tree.
The order is given to punch Saji into submission, with blood spraying everywhere.
Some epic hand-to-hand combat involving Harry, Saji, and Maddie.
Harry has been punched a good 10 times already.
Her left femur has been cracked. Twice.
Fortunately, Saji has been subdued. And this was the potential colonist that our faction had desired to recruit.
And Wash carries her from the carnage to our Happy Hut prison cell, which is ironically the nicest room in our entire compound.
Harry and Maddie have only sustained minor injuries. The Wash will work quickly to patch up Saji's gaping wounds.
I believe she sustained 9 gunshot wounds. And a myriad other bodily injuries. Oof, Faulkner's brain destroyed. That's gotta hurt.
Being that he has no more brain, a grave is constructed for Faulkner.
In this episode, our intrepid colonists tamed a megasloth, head off a pig invasion at the pass, and intercepted an attempted prison break. We took a closer look at resident bad boy Wash's subjectively poor art. What will happen next? Will our captive Saji be successfully recruited, forced to live alongside the woman who smugly blew the brains out of her best friend? Will she then be made to relive the incident daily via a sculpture completed by Wash, which stands prominently in the dining area as a monument immortalizing Faulkner's demise? Will Maddie suffer from a seemingly endless series of psychotic breaks? I guess you'll just have to wait for the next installment to find out.